Welcome to Night Stories, where the shadows hold secrets, and every whisper tells a tale of the unknown. We dive into a mystery that has puzzled investigators, tormented a family, and haunted a community for nearly 2 decades. This is the story of Joshua Guimond, a promising young man who vanished without a trace on a cold November night, leaving behind only questions that continue to echo through time. Picture this. It's the fall of 2002 in the heart of Minnesota, where the crisp air carries the scent of pine and the lakes are starting to freeze over. In this serene setting lies St. John's University in Collegeville, a place where students like Joshua Guimond are preparing for the future, each with dreams as expansive as the sky above. Joshua, a political science major, was one of them. Ambitious, intelligent, and full of life. He was deeply involved in his studies, a key member of the university's mock trial team, and had his sights set on becoming a lawyer. But on the night of November 9th, everything changed. Born on June 18, 1982, Joshua was the only child of Brian and Lisa Guimond. Growing up in Maple Lake, Minnesota, Joshua was known for his sharp intellect, his sense of responsibility, and his love for the outdoors. Friends and family describe him as someone who was not only bright and determined, but also kind and well-liked by everyone who knew him. He enjoyed ice fishing and hunting, often spending quality time with his father. Tradition that cemented their bond. Joshua's drive and determination led him to St. John's University, where he pursued political science with the hope of one day making a difference in the world. His involvement in the mock trial team showed his passion for law, a field he was eager to enter. Friends recall how Joshua could light up a room with his energy, always the one to step up and take on challenges, both in academics and in life. On the evening of November 9, 2002, Joshua attended a gathering with friends at a campus apartment. It was a typical Saturday night, filled with laughter, conversations, and the usual college camaraderie. Later, Joshua joined a poker game at Metten Court, a dormitory on campus. According to his friends, Joshua was in good spirits, enjoying the night without any signs of distress. But at around 11:45 p.m., Joshua left the poker game, telling his friends he was heading back to his dorm. It was a short walk, just 5 minutes, but Joshua never made it. The next day, when Joshua missed a mock trial practice, a commitment he never took lightly, his friends began to worry. They searched for him, hoping he was just running late or had crashed at someone else's place. But as hours turned into days, the reality set in. Joshua was missing. When investigators arrived at Joshua's dorm room, they found something unsettling. His coat, keys, wallet, and glasses were all there, untouched. It was as if he had intended to return shortly, but something, or someone, prevented him from doing so. Even more curious was the fact that Joshua's computer was left on, something out of character for someone as meticulous as he was. Was this a clue? Cry for help? Or just an innocent oversight? As the investigation progressed, more questions arose than answers. There were reports of a witness who claimed to have seen Joshua on a bridge near Stump Lake around the time he left the poker party. The sighting was never conclusively verified, and the location, surrounded by dark water and dense woods, added to the eerie nature of the case. Could Joshua have fallen into the lake, drowned in the freezing water? Despite extensive searches, including the use of sonar and dive teams, no trace of Joshua was ever found in the lake or its surroundings. But the mystery didn't end there. As investigators delved deeper into the case, they began to uncover discrepancies in the accounts of those close to Joshua, particularly his roommate, Nick Hadukovic. Nick and Joshua had been friends and co-captains of the mock trial team. But in the days leading up to Joshua's disappearance, there had been tensions between them, tensions that reportedly involved Joshua's ex-girlfriend, Katie Benson. Nick claimed he had spent the evening with Katie at her dorm in the nearby College of St. Benedict. According to Nick, he returned to their shared dorm room around 2:30 a.m., only to find Joshua missing. However, Nick's keycard, used to access the dorms, showed a different time, 2:42 a.m. This small, yet significant discrepancy, along with reports of an argument between Nick and Joshua that night, cast a shadow of doubt over Nick's story. But let us stop for a moment. It seems that the matter is complicated, and to help us solve it, do not forget to click like and share the story with your friends. Let's continue. Rumors began to swirl. Some believed that the tension between Nick and Joshua might have escalated into something more sinister. Others wondered if Katie, who had dated Joshua for 4.5 years, might have been caught in the middle of something she couldn't control. Katie, for her part, insisted that Nick had nothing to do with Joshua's disappearance. But as investigators tried to piece together the events of that night, the timeline seemed to fray at the edges, leaving critical gaps that have never been fully explained. Nick's refusal to take a polygraph test only fueled further speculation. While some saw this as a sign of guilt, others argued that it was a reasonable decision, given the potential legal implications. After all, polygraph tests are not foolproof, and in the court of public opinion, even a shadow of suspicion can be devastating. Despite the growing suspicions, no concrete evidence ever emerged linking Nick, or anyone else, to Joshua's disappearance. The search for Joshua continued, expanding beyond the campus to the surrounding woods, lakes, and towns. The National Guard, the FBI, and countless volunteers scoured the area, but no trace of Joshua was ever found. In the meantime, investigators made a disturbing discovery. Joshua's computer had been tampered with. Certain pieces of data had been erased, and in their place were photos of unidentified men. Who were these men? Why were they on Joshua's computer? And what did they have to do with his disappearance? These questions, like so many others, remain unanswered. As the years have passed, theories about what happened to Joshua Guimond have only grown more complex. Some believe he may have accidentally drowned, his body lost to the depths of the cold Minnesota lakes. Others suspect foul play, pointing to the inconsistencies in the accounts of those close to him. And then there are those who wonder if Joshua, overwhelmed by the pressures of life, chose to disappear on his own, leaving behind the only life he had ever known. But what do you think? Could Joshua have simply walked away from his life, or was something more sinister at play? Was his disappearance the result of a tragic accident, a deliberate act of violence, or something else entirely? As we ponder these questions, we are left with a chilling reminder. The truth, whatever it may be, is still out there, waiting to be uncovered. In the years since Joshua's disappearance, his family has never given up hope. They have continued to search for answers, driven by the love they have for their son and the need to know what happened to him. The community has also rallied around them, keeping Joshua's memory alive and calling for improved safety measures on university campuses. Yet, despite their efforts, the mystery remains. Joshua's case, like so many others, is a stark reminder of the fragility of life. One moment, you're here, surrounded by friends, full of dreams and aspirations. The next, you're gone, leaving behind only questions and heartache. For those who love Joshua, the pain of his absence is as real today as it was on that cold November night. And for the rest of us, his story serves as a haunting testimony to the thousands of missing persons cases that remain unsolved each year. As we close tonight's story, The disappearance of Joshua Guimond leaves us with more questions than answers. In a world where technology and surveillance are ever present, how is it that a person can simply vanish without a trace? What happened to Joshua on that fateful night, and will we ever know the truth? Invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation alive and continue searching for the answers that Joshua and his family so desperately deserve. Thank you for joining us on Night Stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and never stop questioning the shadows that dance at the edge of the light.